We begin tonight with breaking news right now out of Kettering. We are now learning an incident police are currently investigating is an officer-involved shooting.
We want to give you an idea of where this all took place. They were called to a location at Hadley Avenue just before 10 o'clock tonight for a shots fired call. Abby Forbes has been there for about the last hour. You just heard from investigators. What did they tell you? All right, it looks like that shot is frozen right now. That happens with live video, so we're going to go to some sound from an officer on scene there.
Upon their arrival, they were confronted with a situation in which the officer was forced to use his duty weapon involved in an officer-involved shooting. The conditions of both the officer and the suspect are unknown at this time. We will have more information for you tomorrow.
And like he said, it is an ongoing investigation, and I'll show you a little bit of what we're seeing right now. We just had a police trailer arrive on the scene, and that is about all the new information we have right now because this is still an ongoing investigation, like he said. And we will keep you updated on air and online as we learn more. Back to you.
All right, Abby, thanks. Now to an amazing video we got into our newsroom. 3 police officers being called heroes tonight after saving a man's life. This is after a truck crashed into his home. Now, the video showing officers rescue the man who was trapped underneath his bed.
Yeah, Gwyneth Falloon has been following this story for us. She's now joining us live here in the studio. So, Gwen, what exactly happened?
Yeah, Elise. Well, DPD, they shared this video on their Facebook page earlier this morning. Now, just before 2 a.m., officers Jason Bryant, Justin Potey, and Michael Pena heard loud crashing sound. Now, when they arrived, they found a truck. It was crashed into a home on Sylvan Drive. But despite the smell of natural gas coming from that home, those 3 officers, they rushed into the home, finding a man trapped underneath his bed. Now, in this incredible body camera video, you can see and hear the exact moment that man was rescued.
Be careful in here.
Where?
Where are you at?
Under the bed, under the bed. Yep, I see you, I see you.
Come on, come on.
Here, can you walk?
Yeah.
Can you walk?
Yeah.
Get up, hurry, 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 hurry. Crash into the house.
Now, that man, he was fortunately able to get up, and those officers, they helped him to safety. Now, police say at this time they're still looking for that truck's driver. Now, we're going to continue to follow this story and bring you the latest updates as soon as they become available here on air and online. Back to you.
Gwen, thanks. The man accused of shooting 2 and killing 1 at the D-Max facility in Moraine back in May appeared in court today. 30-year-old Frederick Cox was in court through a video feed, entered a not guilty plea. The judge for the Montgomery County Common Pleas Court set his bond at $1 million. His next court appearance set for August 17th.
A live look tonight from the Miami Valley Jail's website. That is not a live look from the jail's website, but a man is now facing numerous charges, including murder. 37-year-old DeMark Hobb is charged in connection to the shooting death of a Dayton repossession agent just last month. Police say Cobb confronted 42-year-old Graylin Russell for trying to repossess a vehicle. Cobb is now being held on a $1 million bond. He is scheduled to be arraigned on August 8th.
Tonight, new information and video from the officer-involved shooting and chase that ended in Vandalia near the Dayton airport yesterday. Melena Brown has the updates.
I spent today digging to find what led up to this incident and learn more about the people involved. Well, the Montgomery County coroner released their identities earlier today, and I found an extensive criminal history. It all started yesterday with a traffic stop in London that led to an hours-long chase across I-70 and hostage negotiations along the Dayton International Access road ramps. When troopers approached the truck, the suspects began to shoot, leading officers to return fire, both suspects being shot and killed. Today, the Montgomery County coroner released his reports. The suspects were a married couple from Vandalia, Rodney and Elaine Hellman. And yesterday was not Rodney Hellman's first run-in with the law. I found at least 12 previous criminal charges and arrests that include drug possession and fraud. And he still had an open case in Montgomery County for possession of tramadol, an opioid like fentanyl. We went to the last known home of the Hellmans, and neighbors tell me the couple haven't lived there in years. But when they did, they saw suspicious activity going on often and frequently called the cops to the home. The family was at the home, but declined to comment on the situation. I reached out to BCI, who is heading the investigation, for any new information, but they're unable to release anything at this time. I also requested body and dash cam video from the Ohio State Highway Patrol, and I'm still waiting to receive it. As this develops, we will be sure to continue to bring you updates here on air and online. Back to you.
So if you can't beat them, you persecute them or you prosecute them.
We now know tonight former President Donald Trump pled not guilty to 4 federal charges related to his efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Now, he appeared before the magistrate judge in the U.S. District Court today in Washington, D.C. He was indicted just Tuesday by Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith. Trump says he's done nothing wrong and is being targeted for political purposes.
This is a very sad day for America. This is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America.
Now, more reaction coming from Trump's legal team today as well. An attorney for Trump was among those outside the courthouse, and like the former president, she denounced the new charges as election interference.
The fact that I am standing here for the 3rd time in 5 months is not a coincidence. This is the Biden political lawfare that we have seen time and time again. It is a deflection from everything that they have done.
This now marks Trump's 3rd arrest in the past 4 months.
Here's a closer look at what those charges could lead to. Conspiracy to defraud the United States carries a maximum sentence of 5 years. Conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding carries a max sentence of 2 decades. Obstruction of an official proceeding, which also carries 20 years, and conspiracy against rights, which carries a max sentence of 10. Legal analysts, though, say it's unlikely his sentence would be that long if convicted.
The next hearing is set for August 28th, and the former president will now have to follow certain release conditions, including no communication with anyone known to be a witness of the case except through an attorney. The next hearing is set for 5 days after the first Republican presidential primary debate, though Trump said he will not be participating.
Along for the ride in these proceedings is former Vice President Mike Pence, who is likely to play a big role in this criminal case. That is because, according to the newly unsealed indictment, Pence was the person who former President Trump asked to reject votes certifying the outcome of the 2020 election. And that was days before the Capitol Hill riot. The former vice president pushed back against claims from Trump that he was just asking for a pause.
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives.
Now, the indictment alleges Trump told Pence he was, quote, too honest after the former vice president opposed the idea. Trump maintains he did nothing wrong.
And if you want to keep up to date with this story and other breaking news, of course, we'll alert you on our air, but you can also get alerts through our Dayton 24/7 Now app. Just take out your phone, scan the QR code you see right there on your screen to download it. You can also find it for free in Google Play and Apple App Stores. And if you want to read more on the very latest indictment against the former president, check out Dayton247now.com. You can find these stories under the Nation and World section.
Well, if you missed it, the humidity, it is back with authority.
It is.
It's pretty rough outside right now.
Especially when you compare it to earlier this week, which was very fall-like.
It was nice, yeah.
Felt like late September almost in the Miami Valley, but now it feels like August. We have 70s across the area. We have 74 in Dayton, 73 in Troy, 64 in Wapakoneta. So some cooler spots out there, but for the most part, we're sitting warmer and also more humid than we were this time yesterday. Dew points are back mid-upper 60s. I believe we had a 70-degree dew point earlier into the day, I should say, in Xenia, and that's going to continue to be the trend next couple of days, staying with some of that mugginess. A little drop with the front that moves through late Friday into Saturday, but a peak in that humidity Sunday into Monday. That's as our next weather maker approaches, which will bring the chance for some storms. But for tomorrow, it'll be warm, muggy, but a great day for a motorcycle ride. Highs back up into the upper 80s for the afternoon.
Tonight, the Biden administration looking for new ways to help you repay your student loans. To do this, the White House is launching a beta application. Abby Forbes has been following this development and has more information on what it all means.
I feel like there's just problems everywhere. And where do you start? Yeah, you should handle forgiveness, but at the same time, schools should also reduce tuitions, right? So they don't have to take these actions.
Many students and graduates echo this idea. Ben Young graduated in 2022 from Wright State University and still has 4 small loans he needs to pay back.
I'm a teacher. I don't make the most money, but I think you shouldn't be obviously forced to pay back before you can or forced to pay back before you should. That also is dependent upon life circumstance.
The Biden administration launched the beta version of its new SAVE plan. This comes after his student loan forgiveness plan was deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. But experts say this shouldn't be a problem with this plan because the previous one was about forgiveness, whereas this one is about income-based repayment.
The way it stands now, I think this one will remain in place. It's not without controversy because it's still several hundreds of billions of dollars to the taxpayers.
This is set to replace another income plan already in place.
It's going to replace what we call the repay program, repay as you earn. And so basically it's looking again at household size and income and reducing the repayment rates for borrowers.
Under this new plan, a person's monthly repayment amount is based on the difference between their adjusted gross income and 225% of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services poverty guideline amount for their family size. The previous plan used to be 150% of that poverty guideline. And students and graduates expressed how important loans are with the cost of college.
Sometimes room, board, meal plan, tuition for all your classes, moving away. It's a lot of costs, and I know people that typically can spend up to $20,000 a year.
That was Abby Forbes reporting. Now, this plan should go into effect, or full effect, I should say, in January. More information about applying is linked on our website, Dayton247now.com.
A major event that brings in millions to the Miami Valley is staying in Dayton. Still ahead, how long Winter Guard Championships will be calling the Gem City home.
And chaos at the Columbus Zoo. This after a man fell into the cheetah enclosure. Ahead, what we're learning about the incident.
Plus, I'm checking our next weather maker when storms return to the Miami Valley. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Winter Guard International continuing its commitment to hold its World Championship here in the Dayton area. The event has been hosted in the Miami Valley for the past 35 years. And Lydia Bice has been following that for us tonight. So how does this impact our local economy?
That's right. So the WGI Color Guard World Championships are the largest annual event for the Dayton community and surrounding counties. In fact, it provides a major boost to the area's economy. Those involved in planning say it brings in nearly $20 million each year.
We look forward to it and we compete for this. We don't take them for granted. I mean, this puts in $18 million in our collective communities a year. 60,000 people come.
So how long is the new contract then?
So this new contract is through the year 2031. Now you can learn more about the legacy of this event and why representatives from WGI say that they will continue to have the event in Dayton in this story on our website, Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Well, quiet weather out there. It's been a calm week overall, but it is a little warmer today, a little bit more humid, but I don't think we could complain after this week that we've had. It's been beautiful, especially start of the week. It was nice and dry, but we do have that humidity returning. A front just to our north, which will skim through our area tomorrow, bringing a few clouds in, and then it will drop humidity and temperature slightly, but not a big drop. Here you could see 60s by tomorrow morning. By the afternoon, back into the mid-upper 80s. I think we could see some spots hit 90 by tomorrow. And then heading into our day on Saturday, we start out in the 60s, mid-upper 80s again, a little bit more cloud cover. But heading into our Sunday timeframe, we do have the risk for some thunderstorms that could be strong to severe. So I'm going to talk about that coming up here in just a bit.
New tonight, things are back to normal at the Columbus Zoo after a little bit of chaos this afternoon. Now, the zoo says a man was hurt after falling into a safety barrier near one of the exhibits in the heart of Africa. Steve Levine has more from the zoo tonight and what we're learning.
The man who fell is expected to be okay. The accident happened at the Heart of Africa exhibit around 12 p.m. this afternoon. Now, this is a photo that we obtained of the accident location. It's the fenced area around the trees. Zoo officials say a man in his 30s fell from a handrail about 10 to 12 feet while trying to get a better look at the cheetahs near the watering hole. He landed underneath the boardwalk you see here, nowhere near any animals. A fence separates that space from where the animals are. The watering hole is where the cheetah run presentations are held and other animals gather and graze during the day. When the man fell, Adrian, a 3.5-year-old cheetah, was with her handler in the watering hole. Adrian noticed the man when he fell, but stayed with her handler and was brought inside. At about the same time of that accident, a teenager was discovered standing in a tree behind a protective barrier, but staff able to get him out of that area and off of that tree. We've also learned that the man who was injured was taken to Riverside Hospital in stable condition with minor injuries. The zoo says this is the first time anything like this has ever happened here.
That was Steve Levine reporting. Now, people in Miamisburg going home tonight with some supplies ahead of the school year. Hope for Miamisburg hosted a back-to-school bash where they gave free supplies to anyone in the district. These supplies will help ease the burden of parents before they send their kids back to class.
All of the prices have gone up for everyone. And so if we can bless a family with something as simple as all of their school supplies for the year, we feel like that's going to help them overall with all the other things that they need.
Miamisburg students go back to school on August 15th. And with the tax-free weekend coming up, you can help area school children. Dayton 24/7 Now, we're proud to partner with McDonald's for the Back to School Basics School Supply Drive. It benefits Cranza Classrooms. That's a local organization that distributes school supplies to area teachers in need for free. All week long, you can bring your donation to any McDonald's restaurant.
All right, here's a live look from downtown Troy tonight. Beautiful night. Although if you step outside, you feel the humidity again. It is thick once again.
Yeah, and there's not quite a breeze or anything
No.
to move the air around.
You're just suffocating in it.
Exactly, and that will be kind of the trend overnight into the day tomorrow too. But overall, it's been a dry week, which is not necessarily a bad thing because our official drought monitor that just came out today showing that we really have no drought conditions across the Miami Valley with the exception of some abnormally dry conditions in Mercer County, also a small sliver of that in Butler County too. But we do have some rain on the way that will arrive Sunday and into Monday. That will be with our next weather maker. So mid to upper 80s next couple of days, 90 on Sunday, We get our cold front to swing through, which will bring the threat for some stronger to even severe storms. So we're going to talk more about that coming up here in just a bit.
Scientists are on a mission to reduce air pollution, and new technology may be the key. How a new research campaign is making strides. It's been 6 months since the train derailment in East Palestine. What lawmakers are doing to prevent future derailments. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. A major research campaign has successfully taken off at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Meteorologist Tim Boyd attended the event and explains what it all means.
In a joint effort, NASA and NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, have successfully launched a major air pollution research campaign.
NOAA's mission is to understand and predict our environment, from deep sea all the way to outer space, to protect lives and property, and to manage and conserve America's coasts and marine resources.
Scientists do not deny that there have been great strides in reducing air pollution in the last decade or so, but say we still have some work to do. The ongoing campaigns are focused on two particulates in our atmosphere, ground layer ozone and fine particulates, also known as PM 2.5. Dr. Chelsea Stockwell of NOAA says, "We want ozone in the atmosphere, but having too much of it at ground level is unhealthy for humans."
So here we're looking at ozone. So ozone is a reactive gas.
It is, I like to say, bad down low, good up high.
These two particulates are exacerbated by high heat and sunlight, making them even more dangerous in urban areas affected by urban heat islands. The pair of pollutants contributes to over 100,000 premature deaths in the United States annually, which is significantly higher than that of severe weather events. These pollutants also cause over $1 trillion in damage in the U.S. annually. The aircraft itself is a highly modified Douglas DC-872 4-engine jetliner that has been retrofitted into a massive flying laboratory. The aircraft was built in 1969 but was acquired by NASA in 1985. The aircraft is 157 feet long with a 148-foot wingspan that can fly at altitudes of 1,000 feet all the way up to 42,000 feet for up to 12 hours, though most missions only take 6 to 10 hours. The aircraft is based at the NASA Air Armstrong Flight Research Center facility in Palmdale, California, and from that location, scientists can monitor and study air quality along the West Coast and over the Pacific Ocean. However, the aircraft is temporarily based at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base right here in Dayton, where it can fly missions to multiple data collecting locations in the Midwest and East Coast. Those locations specifically are Chicago, Detroit, Toronto, and New York City. This aircraft isn't the only way of monitoring emissions in our atmosphere. NASA also recently deployed the satellite TEMPO, Tropospheric Emissions Monitoring of Pollution. Through programs like TEMPO, the DC-8 Airborne Science Laboratory, and other similar methods, scientists hope to gain a better understanding of our air quality and ways to improve the air we breathe for generations to come.
And that was Tim Boyd reporting. Now, tomorrow marks 4 years since 9 people were shot and killed in the Oregon district. On August 4th, 2019, a shooter opened fire in the district, and in a matter of seconds, he killed the 9 people you see on your screen there, injured dozens of others. The shooter was shot and killed by Dayton police. Now, tomorrow, a memorial will be held to remember the victims in the district. It's being organized by survivor Greene and the Fudge Foundation.
Today marks 6 months since the Norfolk Southern hazardous train derailment in East Palestine. That February train derailment forced people to evacuate from their homes as a hazardous chemical from the detached cars, were left to burn. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the aftermath caused millions of dollars in damages and left many in the area worried about long-term health effects.
So in response to the East Palestine derailment and other derailments across the country, lawmakers pushed for a